It's time for the top 5 American whiskeys of 2024. I have a lot of bourbon, I have a lot of ryes, I have a lot of American whiskeys. It wasn't easy to come up with these top 5 because everything I have is around the same price range and the same profile and the same kind of style. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint my top 5 whiskeys. Only the top 2 whiskeys today were shoe-ins. The other 3 I had to think about a lot. Let's waste no time, get right into it. The number 5 American whiskey of 2024. Number 5 is 1792, aged 12 years, 48.3% alcohol, 96.6 proof. This is from the Bourbon Distillery, owned by Sazerac. You're going to ask yourself, why is a 12-year bourbon the 5th spot? This is still a great whiskey, just not better than the other 4 I have today. So a 12-year bourbon is number 5. Why? Well, just in fact, it's not that full of flavor. It's highly allocated. You get some of those weird secondary prices here. I was lucky with this, so I didn't get that treatment, but something this highly sought after, I believe, should be above and beyond very, very good. That's not saying this is bad. I mean, it is number 5 that I've had it this year, but it's kind of thin, definitely light-bodied, and when I drink it, I really don't feel like I'm drinking a 12-year bourbon. There's a lot of spice, there's a lot of fruit on it, and with this mash bill, it's thought to be a high rye, it's undisclosed, but it's around 15-20% rye. I don't get a lot of the rye pops, but I do get a lot of grape notes, kind of like a grapey banana bread, almost like that Jack Daniel's banana note. I got this for around 70 bucks. MSRP is 60, but I've seen them for $150, $200. For that price point for a 12-year bourbon, definitely grab it. It's a good bottle. It's just, for me, doesn't go above the other 4 I have with me today. So for that reason, it's number 5. Number 4 is Peerless Double Oak Bourbon, 108.4 proof, 54.2% alcohol. Undisclosed mash bill, but thought to be around 6 years old. I really, really enjoy this bourbon. It is one of the most full flavor bourbons that I have on my shelf, and Peerless makes a great product. This thing is very good. Now this guy is completely different. He is so rich, so full, so complex. Just a lot of oak influence here. It's 6 years old, full of life, full of spice, full of caramel, full of maple, just very, very good. Very thick bodied whiskey too. And the finish on this guy is very, very long. He would be the top bourbon if not for the number 1 spot I have here because it's just very, very good. This guy is also slightly allocated and the market gets a little finicky with it. I got it from a buddy for 85 bucks. That's normally what you should find it for, but I've seen it in stores for 120 and upwards, and it might be worth that. It is a very, very good bourbon. If you enjoy a very rich, robust profile with a long finish and a nice kick, that's your guy. The problem is, it's not available in a lot of spots, so you're gonna be hard to find it, but I think it's good for number 4. Number 3 is a rye, and yes, it's Jack Daniel's. Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye, 67.1% alcohol, 134.2 proof. My goodness, such a full flavored rye. My favorite rye right now. It is just so, so, so good. I always grab it. Actually just killed another bottle that I have of this. Great rye. A rye in the 3 spot might sound weird, but I tell you, this thing is so good. And how much do I like it? Well, I killed a bottle the other day, so I already went through almost 2 of these. This guy is almost gone. Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye review up here. Man, it is so, so rich, so full. And I really like proof and I really like ryes, so putting this in here is great. At 134 proof, man, you might be able to see that Old Carter up there. It's better than the Old Carter and it's a fraction of the price. That Old Carter is more savory to me. I like the kind of sweet, very, very obvious rye spice in this. And I actually get kind of a nice fruit note on this guy. It's great for the winter. It's great for drinking outside. It's great to warm you up. It's a great session dram. It's just really, really good. People that don't know that Jack Daniel's makes good craft spirits need to go out and find one of these because they are so good. Should MSRP around 70 bucks, at most 90. I think they're worth it. And when you look at the Old Carter that I have up there, that's $240. It's a no-brainer. This is my favorite rye still, until maybe I get a hand on a Thomas Haney, but we know that's not gonna happen. But bang, Jack Daniel's is at number 3. And surprisingly, not number 1. Number 2, Jack Daniel's Coy Hill. 61.95% alcohol, 123.9 proof. A unicorn of unicorns. This thing is a month under 11 years, 10 years, 11 months old. Coy Hill is a very special product and a very limited release. We'll get into why it's so hard to find later. It's also number 2 spot. You might be surprised to see that Coy Hill is not my number 1 option today, and that just speaks volumes to what my number 1 is. If you don't know what Coy Hill is, it is a special release of Jack Daniel's. in the Warehouse 8 rickhouse and in the middle levels. So usually they go it out every couple of years. This 2024 release isn't as high proof as some of the other releases. They're around 130 max. There have been some that have been 150, but I think those are long gone. They are aged very long. This is just under 11 years old. And I tell you what, I had this on Christmas and it is very, very good. That iconic Jack Daniel's banana note, but really, really nice layers of chocolate, vanilla, caramel, that savory banana bread, all layers over each other, and it really tandems all over your tongue. It is very, very nice. But in fact, smelling it, you don't even know that it's almost 62% alcohol. It is very, very soft on the nose, but when you drink it, you definitely get that kick. And just to say just how good this actually is, y'all know my wife. She doesn't like whiskey. I had her sip this thing for the first time and check it out.
Sip of Coy Hill. Wow.
I don't hate it, actually.
So that reaction from her speaks volumes. This is a very, very good bottle. It's definitely a unicorn, but the next bottle is even better to me. And my number one bourbon of 2024, you might not have heard of it. It's the Old Jett Brothers from Neeley Family Distillery. This one is finished in Portuguese Madeira wine barrels for 8 months. 104.3 proof, 52.5% alcohol. The most delectable, amazing bourbon that I have had this year. And I cannot wait to tell you about it. And this is the best bourbon you've never heard of from Neeley Family Farms. This thing, my goodness. 8 months in Portuguese Madeira. I cannot tell you how butterscotchy delicious this thing is. And Neeley is so small, they only do 2 barrels a day. That is very, very minute compared to the other big hitters in Kentucky. But they pot still everything. And I enjoy pot still, I think, a lot more than the column still because you get a nice, fuller, chewier kind of distillate, very, very full of flavors. And I tell you, you're gonna say, why isn't this open? Well, I had a sample before I went down to Kentucky. You could only get this bottle at their distillery. So if you want one of the best bourbons that I've ever had, go to Neeley Family Distillery. You will not be disappointed. Only 120 bucks in their gift shop, worth every single penny. I'm gonna save this because again, you can't buy it anywhere else. It is the most delicious bourbon I have had this year. And I'm gonna be curious to see if 2025 has any hitters that's gonna come up against this guy because I tell you what, it is phenomenal. Want to know more? Look them up. I swear to you, they make some of the best products ever. Their tasting at their bar was great. I have an apricot brandy finish right over here. I cannot wait to open that either. But there it is, my number one bourbon of 2024. Well, there are my top 5 American whiskeys of 2024. Comment down below. Let me know what your favorite American whiskeys were this year. Maybe I'll buy a few in 2025 and they'll be in next year's list. But as always, like the video, give a like. Not subscribed yet, make sure you do. One of the best ways to support me. Here's to the end of a great 2024. Thank you all. See you in 2025. See ya.